Some of you have been here a while now and might know that I'm a pretty lazy man. But how on earth can you have a healthy diet that's also easy and convenient? Well, if you live in the US, it is your lucky day because I've got the perfect solution for you. Factor offers you the chance to get fresh, ready-made meals delivered directly to your doorstep. They're never frozen, they're full of high quality ingredients and packed with nutritional value too. It even offers meals for those following different lifestyles and diets. So what are you waiting for? Go and click that lovely link at the top of the description now. You'll get plenty of money off your first order with Factor and some off the few after too. You'd be a fool to miss out on an opportunity like that. Well, is this about to be the end of the longest stint of our career so far? We've got 2 games left in the Premier League season with Crystal Palace and we've reached European football again. Today we'll decide whether it's Europa League or Europa Conference football we give them. But some big jobs are coming up due to some other teams' failures and we're going to be going for them heavily. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 98 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. We are finishing, is it our 4th season at Crystal Palace now? With 2 big games against Leeds and Bournemouth. But Bournemouth, the final game up in 5th place, could yet decide whether it's Europa League or Conference for Palace. And given the extra coefficient place for the league as well, if we get very lucky, we could even be in the Champions League. But we are not going to be looking at that for the long term because it is job opportunity time. And you can see one side below us that have maybe missed out. Their job is available. If we go and have a look at the job centre, Manchester United we have applied for. If we take a step up to an elite job, it's probably got to be the right one now because we've done wonders with Palace. And if we fail at, say, Atletico Madrid, we'll be back at this level rebuilding again, which I don't want to do. So that's what we're looking at for the summer. I'm sure a few more will pop up because there are lots of teams underperforming. So you can see we've applied for the job at Manchester United. I've shown you the last message as well, just for a laugh. 2nd biggest profit in a transfer window this year. Dougie has done a great job in the circumstances, don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming him for this. He has signed very good players to replace the ones he's let go. But there's no ambition at the club. A 3,000 seat increase in the stadium. And even when asked for facilities and things, there's always a fight, which is just a pain. So we're going to go and focus on getting another job this summer. But I'm going to complete the job here first. If we have a look at our fixtures since you were last with me, I think it would be fair to say it's been more of a mixed bag than you would expect from looking at the table because we were very close in that fight for 7th and 6th and 8th and 9th. But actually it's other teams' failures that have got us there. It's not the biggest points total we've got. And as you can see, I know the games we probably expected to, but we have lost a fair few. So when you were last with me for that Brighton game, where we bounced back after the Europa disappointment, we got another win straight after against Pep Spurs, a late winner and a turnaround with Spasov and Ribeiro getting the goals. Spasov has signed a new deal now, as have we by the way. We've been offered a 4-year contract on a 25 grand a week pay rise. I wasn't going to turn it down, particularly given the realism of the head coach, but I'm not sure in the long term that's going to have any implication on us moving to a massive club. You can see Spasov, one of the best wonder kids in the world, won the European Golden Boy, not in the top 50 for the World Next Gen Award. Work that one out if you can. But a superstar, we love him. He scored a goal in that one. We then lost 3-0 at Chelsea in an abject performance. We always seem to go 3-0 down away at Chelsea in the first half. A 3-0 win bounced back though at home to Newcastle. Both strikers, Lewis and Vaknin, alongside Dante with the goals. A 1-1 draw at bottom side Forest. Of course, you can never win at the bottom team in FM. Evan Ferguson scored before Vaknin's equaliser. Defeat at home to the champions, who I think were already champions at that point, before a 2-0 win away at Villa. Great result when they're in the top 4 at the minute. Conor Gallagher and Rodrigo Ribeiro there. Against Arsenal, we lost by 1-0 at home. Bukayo Saka with a late winner, still going strong. Spasov picked up a knock in that one, should be back today. And then against Manchester United in the week, his replacement Jimmy Campbell got the first goal. And Rodrigo Ribeiro sealed the manager's fate before a late red card led them to even bigger problems. So it does mean that Manchester United lose a manager. We'll worry about that in the summer. First, let's go and get through to the Leeds game. They've got nothing to play for, which may make them dangerous or may put them on the beach. We'll wait and see which it is. Of course, they put us out of the FA Cup every year. They're part of the reason we've not competed for a trophy here. But let's go and have a look at the 11 we can put out for our penultimate game and possibly our final one in front of the Selhurst crowd. Back in a minute to run through it. Well, I'd actually picked the side already, so nothing really to do. We've got Campbell and Nelson both unavailable, but you can see the rest of the team is pretty strong. We've got Dante out to right back with Barrett moving in the middle. Gallagher has worked his way back into midfield and done really well. And Spasov, I think this will be his first start after injury, yeah. He came off against Aston Villa, playing really well in that game. So the 11 in full is Setford in goal. Oh, I've dropped Guy Vaknin as well. He's out of form, so he drops for the other two strikers. They've all scored loads of goals though. It's Setford in goal, Ter and Luz on the fullbacks with Rodolfo and Barrett as centre-half. We've got Spasov and Hames on the wings with Rothwell alongside Gallagher in midfield. Ribeiro and Lewis up front. Now let's go and see how they do against Leeds. On paper, a very winnable fixture, but they've become somewhat of a bogey side for our club. Well, here we go then. Danny Cowley keeping Leeds pretty comfortably in the Premier League, it's got to be said. He's still got our former man Chris Richards in there, and Keane Lewis Potter always scores against us, so keep an eye out for that. Anthony drops to the bench, which is unusual. He's been a feature against us regularly. So let's just get the lads up to pick up where they left off. They were brilliant at United, they were brilliant at Villa, but at home, I know we've played some bigger teams, we've not been as great recently. So let's see how we get on in the first half of this one, as Leeds are immediately on the front foot. There's just something about them, particularly in the cups they beat us. And Lewis Potter, every time causes chaos, hits the woodwork there early doors. We were almost behind in 2 minutes. We did it in both games last time, as Luzon gets the ball to Gallagher, loses it to Keane Lewis Potter. I tell you what, they look up for this, and we look all over the place. We've turned up like we thought we've already won. And they've turned up with nothing to lose as Lewis gets the ball from the through ball. Can he finish it? He's got it under the goalkeeper. It is terrible work from Leeds number one, but I'm not going to complain. Ribeiro with the big ball over the top. Lewis rounds the keeper. The finish is poor, but he gets away with it. 1-0 to Palace, and we really didn't deserve that. Back just a few minutes later though, as we pick up the ball in midfield with Gallagher. Big long run to Lewis again, into Ribeiro. Oh, he's missed an absolute sitter. Provided the assist for the goal, which has kept his rating up. But you can't miss too many of those. 1-0 it remains, it should have been 2. I mean, this has been a bit of the problem towards the end of the season. There have been a lot of games where we haven't taken our chances, and you saw some of those in the last episode. I mean, how we didn't beat Gladbach over 2 legs, I'll never know. But it's another opportunity missed, as here they come playing out from the back Leeds. Give it away to Ben Hames, who's carrying it forward into the box unopposed. Goalkeeper, looked like he should have held it really, but he tips it wide for a corner kick. I guess after the last one, Leeds will just be happy he's kept it out. As Spasov puts the corner in, Rodolfo loses out. Falls for Hames on the right. Chance to cross, sliding challenge blocks it. Has another opportunity, but it peters out. And to be fair, bar that first couple of minutes, we are now dominating this game. I say as we lose the ball on halfway, Ter will chase it back. The voice is starting to go again, so bear with me, as Rodolfo gets it out to Luzon at left back. He can carry it forward to the returning Spasov. Instead plays through to Lewis and it's intercepted. Not sure that was the right option there. And it's put Lewis Potter in at the other end. We know what he can do. And Rodolfo gets the block in. Not sure what Setford was doing, going with his legs for some reason. But we get away with it. It's a corner kick. If we defend this, we'll maintain our lead. As it's into Rodolfo, heads away well. Carboni back into the edge of the box. And a shot is comfortable for Setford. Holds it. There's 10 minutes to half time. And we stay 1-0 up, deservedly so. Well, worth noting, we should look at the things that Palace fans would care about as well. Brighton are drawing in their game, which at the moment keeps them in the relegation zone, but does edge them a little closer to safety. As we play out from the back with Luzon to Gallagher. Big ball over to Lewis. He scored one from here already, but that one's wide of the post. And again, we saw it with Vaknin last episode. We've seen it with these two today. We just miss chances that we wouldn't normally miss. Brighton have fallen behind, so the rivals might be going down. And in fact, it could be all but sealed today, as Ter gets the ball at right back, plays it into Rothwell. He finds Ben Hames on the right to Ribeiro. I mean, we're carving through them so easily. It's very realistic Leeds-like, but 10, 15 years on, you'd think they'd be doing a bit better. Chris Lewis puts the ball in the back of the net. It is 2-0 to Crystal Palace, and we're going straight from the kickoff. Here they are, with Sousa on the left-hand side. Can we really go and get a 3 or a 4 or a 5? And really push them back, get a confidence builder and go into the Bournemouth game in charge of things as Hall goes back to his left back. Into Georgiev, Leeds keeping it well, but eventually they make mistakes. And again here, it's eventually just long to Luzon who can bring it down comfortably. Spasov cuts inside, has space to run into. Nobody near him. He carries it for ages. Puts in Ribeiro, thinks the keeper, and he's off the line by the defender. Ribeiro's played well, but he's missed some great chances here. I might bring on Vaknin for him in a minute, just see if he can make it count. We've got a quarter of the game to go. We're doing all right otherwise. I'm going to take Hames off for Hagen, Aldarv on for Rothwell, and Ribeiro off for Vaknin. 2 more changes to make. Where games have been settled already, I've been trying to bring younger players on like Pucarino, but this one, still a little bit to play for. With 15 to go though, we were in control, although Leeds have a throw. We'll see this one out first as Walters throws into Lewis Potter. Chance to cross. He puts it into the front post. That's such a poor goal to concede. Valentin Carboni puts it in. He's one hell of a striker, to be fair to him. But that is a poor goal. And again, the clean sheet is gone. And there's just a bit of jeopardy that didn't need to be there. So Luzon's got a throw at the other end. We can get them back straight away here. In his own half to Rodolfo and Spasov. Chance to carry it forward. He's got a runner. Tries to go alone. And he's running out of energy here. I'm worried about him. First game back from injury. Don't want to push him for 90. So Gray carries it forward. And we might need him on in a minute. Because Sousa's into the box. Into Carboni. I think he's offside. But this is becoming ridiculous. Such a scary bit of defending again. Ter struggling at right back. He's not quite the same out there. Let's hope this is disallowed. Oh, it's awarded. It's 2-2. What a way to bottle it. I'm going to have to leave Spasov on now, but I'll replace an anxious Luzon with Bois. And I don't know if we've got anyone who can go right back. I don't think we have. So I'm going to take off Conor Gallagher and bring on maybe Gordon Moore just to freshen up the midfield. Doesn't really weaken the team. But we've got to get more out of them. I mean, they thought the game was won at 2-0. They were being arrogant. And we were about to make our subs as if the game were won. And now we might lose it. They're in one-on-one. The marking is completely absent from the free kick. And they've got another one a minute later. What is going on back here? Ter heads away. Hagen doesn't get there. They're first to everything. But he blocks the second one. Gets a slice of fortune with where it deflects. And Vaknin can bring it forward. Goes back to Aldarv. We've not even seen the subs here yet. Ward gets it wide to the left. Bois brings it down. Great run. Finds Lewis. Finds Vaknin. And it's 3-2 Palace. Only just. And we don't deserve it. But let's get back to balance now. Let's get this job wrapped up. Bois created that goal with a brilliant run. But he won't be making it anymore. We're going to a defensive duty for both fullbacks. We're dropping to a balanced mentality. The 3 points are too important here. Chelsea are playing against Bournemouth. So one of them is dropping points. And as it stands, we're above Bournemouth for the final day. And a draw there keeps us in 6th, which is progress. Let's drop the tempo, let's time waste, and let's slow the pace down. There is no need for us to push here. We have got to win this game. We made hard work of it. We had a shocking 15-minute spell. But I think now we're going to do it. 5 seconds of the allotted 5 minutes to go. And Spasov has a corner kick. It's exactly where we want to be. And this is where I wish in FM you could just take the time wasting short corner. It's a very hard thing to set up instead of just putting time wasting on and it happening. As Rodolfo heads over, blow your whistle, referee. 3-2, hard work, but a victory nonetheless. And into the final day, 6th place is in our hands. But how will we do against Bournemouth? Well, here we go. The decisive moment in this Premier League season with Palace. We've had the confirmation that we're already in Europa Conference League. It's just what more we can do. I was going to say after the last game, if we finish 5th, there's still a chance at the Champions League. But Spurs have got there now by winning the Europa League. And they finished 11th, which is probably explaining why Pep's still in a job. So that adds a little bit of a curveball. But Europa League, if we finish 6th, I think is still doable. Let's just wait and see what happens. Let's go and get into the final game. 2 very good sides going head to head. Let's go and see if our team is fit. The only changes really from the last game are that Nelson is fit to come back in. He'll just replace Ter at right back, who goes on the bench. We'll bring Jimmy Campbell back onto the bench in place of Mitchell, because we don't need 3 left backs and he's nowhere near. And Pucarino will come on for Valet, the January signing. The front 2 played well last time, but I am going to bring Vaknin in for Ribeiro because we know the goal threat he's got. The rest of the team stays the same. So Nelson in and Vaknin in. Out go Ter at right back and Rodrigo Ribeiro up front. Let's go and get into our final game of the season and quite possibly our final game with Crystal Palace. Well, Didier Deschamps still in charge of this Bournemouth side, who again are going to be in Europe. They are consistently a top 7 team here. And to be fair, we're starting to do the same with Palace. We know Hugo Esnol is going to be a big threat. Another one of those stars sold from under our nose. Imagine him in there instead of Barrett or Turnell in that centre-half position. Imagine how good we'd be if Esnol and Rodolfo were our centre-halves. But let's go and get through to it. The first half of the game, we're missing Rodriguez at right back from last year as well. I mean, it's a lot of good players we've lost. Let's go and get into the first half. Away at Bournemouth, we're going to drop to balance because they're a great side. And early doors, they're showing just that as they're on the front foot with a throw by the corner flag. De Ketelaere has scored goals against us before. Didn't we lose 6-1 in a reverse fixture or in a cup to them? I'm sure they battered us in something. Might have been the League Cup actually. We'll be hoping to avoid a repeat of that. A draw, don't forget, and we finish above them. Chelsea are losing at Arsenal, who are in second place. That's a great draw for us to have today. And Brighton are winning, so if Fulham lose, they might yet survive our rivals. But looking at the moment, things are going well. We'll happily take a 0-0 in this situation. 5th place would be remarkable, and it would show the job we're doing. Most sides have got worse since we've left them, and I feel the same would happen with Palace, albeit if we're here next season, I think it's going to be tough because a few of these will get sold in the summer. No doubt about that. As Hames switches the ball to Lewis, brings it down on the left. Good chance to take on his man. Does just that. Oh, it's a brilliant goal. Absolutely sublime from Chris Lewis. Homegrown at the club. He's been here for years. And this season, he's started to take that step. He's scored nearly 25 goals. He's broken through and been in the first team a lot. And if he can avoid injuries regularly, he's going to be a big player for this club. 10 minutes to the break, his goal separates the two sides. And to be fair, away from home, we've been brilliant recently. I say that, we'll probably let in 2 or 3 now. But Andre Luiz brings it into Lavia. Bournemouth on the front foot, starting to get forward for the first time. Out to the right to Wrench. He cuts it inside to Andre Luiz and Lavia. Back to Esnol. Brings it forward to De Ketelaere. Big ball forward, Barrett heads away. Rothwell the skipper down for Hames. He carries it into midfield for Rothwell again. Big ball over the top for Vaknin. Lewis is in the middle waiting. Can he find him? No, he's forced backwards to Nelson, who's done well coming back in. Gallagher gives it to Spasov. Oh, it's a brilliant effort, but just over the bar. He will definitely not be here next season. I hope he gets moved to whatever club we go to, because he will be good enough for any team. As Wrench gets down the right, the cross is blocked. Setford comes, he claims it. I was a little bit worried there for a minute, I'm sure you could tell. But safe hands from the Palace keeper, who goes long over the top. Lewis loses the header. It falls for Lavia. We know Esnol's going to win a lot of those aerial duels. Luiz into Lavia. Esnol again. Into midfield. Over the top towards Plitko. Cleared away by Nelson. No. It's a catastrophic bit of defending. But Charlie Setford, to be fair to him, does absolutely brilliantly there. Sticks his leg out. Makes himself big. It's a great save to tip it behind for a corner. As Lavia's up from the corner kick, headed away to Wrench. Vaknin there first, working hard, but he can't keep the ball. Francois back to Lavia. He becomes a star in this game. Out to Wrench, crosses blocked, Luzon away. It stays 1-0, but at half-time, Bournemouth have had most of the territory. We're still in the lead, and that's all that matters. Well, I'm keeping an eye on the other scorelines, and at the moment, it looks like a great day for Palace fans. Up to 5th with Chelsea losing and us beating Bournemouth. Brighton now being pegged back by Spurs. They might be going down. And Spasov firing that one over the bar would have been a little bit spectacular. I'm really impressed with how the inverted wingers working this year though, particularly in that midfield 4. As Spasov has another corner. Up to Rodolfo. Esnol beats him, his former teammate. Or would they have overlapped actually? He might have been the replacement. Spasov's in. Oh my word. It hit Chris Lewis. He sort of fired it across the box. Lewis, it just hit him and then hit the woodwork. And it looks like an awful miss from a yard. We've got another corner, but how we've not put this game to bed, I don't know. I know Bournemouth had that one glorious chance, and I know they've had most of the territory, but we have had 3 or 4 very good moments, and we've not taken advantage. So corner kick again for Spasov. I feel like I've said that 100 times. He puts it in towards Rodolfo. Esnol wins it again. Hames brings it down, though. Oh, it's a good tackle. You've got to give it to Esnol. We've missed that. Super work with 25 to go. I'm going to make some changes because Spasov doesn't look great at the minute. He'll be replaced by Jimmy Campbell. Rothwell off for Aldav, who's actually rated better than him now. And Vaknin, it hasn't really worked. So Rodrigo Ribeiro on for him. 3 changes made with 25 to go. Let's see if we can hold out. As Barrett picks the ball up from a free kick to Nelson. Over halfway he comes. That's support down the line. Hames isn't going to reach that though. And they're beating our press, sorry. De Ketelaere puts in Plitko. We know the quality he's got. But he's having one hell of a bad day at the office. That one doesn't even hit the target. And Bournemouth now, the greater expected goals. To be fair, they've been the better side for the most part. They are not able to take their chances as Campbell puts it into Lewis. Turns back here, finds Aldav the sub. He gives it to Rodolfo. Support from Barrett. Just keeping the ball here. And there are going to be gaps because they're pushing now. Nelson carries it forward. No one with him. Cross is blocked. He's got another chance though. Can play backwards. Gets to the byline. In towards Lewis. Esnault away. Campbell back into Lewis. That's a bit clumsy. And it's a foul given against Lavia. We're going to VAR. I'm not sure it was a strong enough challenge, but the penalty's awarded. It wasn't going to be overturned, was it? We'll see if this one goes in, then we can make a change. Rodrigo Ribeiro, the sub, steps up. Would have been Vaknin if he was on, but it doesn't matter. It's the same outcome. Ribeiro in the bottom corner. Hames is knackered. He'll be replaced by Hagen. It's 2-0. Fifth place is looking good. European football is on the way. And to be fair, if we do get stuck at Palace, we'll be in a better competition. As Hagen carries the ball forward the sub. Joining permanently in the summer, don't forget. Finds Gordon Ward. He never scores a goal. His first of the season. Might even be, his first for the club. He's been here 18 months and he puts the cherry on the cake. Bournemouth chasing the game. We're picking them off on the counter. And this has become the perfect day. Brighton, the rivals, down. Chelsea lose to put us into a brilliant position in 5th. And Rodolfo, very much a different story. 9th for the season for him. It is 4-0 to Palace. It is an absolutely brilliant end to the year. And Crystal Palace are in 5th place, just 2 points off the top 4. That is some finish to the season. We have been brilliant for the most part. And you know what? I know we didn't get that trophy we craved, but we have shown so many good signs. Well, here we go then. End of season review time. And Palace are trying to draw me back in. More on that in a moment. We have a look at the new arrivals. There is no doubt this summer that the work done was actually good. Barrett has been a solid signing for the most part. Aldav has been rock solid as well, as has Luzon at left back. Dante, brilliant free agent. Bucarino, one for the future. Even Conor Gallagher was solid. The 2 loan signings have made an impact in the squad. And the January signings maybe not so great, but we can forgive that for Dougie Freedman. When you look at the players out by comparison, the big one obviously was George Rodriguez, who was a superstar for us last year. But other than that, no one of real quality has gone, and the squad has definitely improved. Albeit I was a little upset to lose Owen Hurley in January. Let's go and get through to the season results where we finished 5th. Europa League football is confirmed. It might yet still get better. The Europa Conference League, though, was the big disappointment. We should have won that tie against Gladbach. And I know maybe we wouldn't have got 5th in the league then, but I feel we'd have had a real chance at winning the trophy, proven by the fact that Gladbach got through and played Zurich of Switzerland in the last 8, just to give you a bit of perspective. The FA Cup is always Leeds United, and the League Cup, Bournemouth beat us 6-1. At least we turned it round at the end of the year and got them back. Let's get through to the moments to remember, which were pretty spectacular in truth. The biggest win in that first qualifier of the season, that team were awful. A 4-1 win against Liverpool, the match to remember over the festive period. Really good display there. And a 1-1 draw away at Forest saw goal of the season from Guy Vaknin. It's only a couple of weeks ago and I don't even remember it, so it can't have been that special. The finances have taken a massive success this season. The prize money's up, the sponsorship's up, the club's going in the right direction. Proven by the fact that the bank balance is now healthy and next year's transfer budget is pretty good. I was just looking at the best 11 they'd picked there. They've left out Rodrigo Ribeiro. In midfield, it's what we finished with, and they've gone for Ter over Barrett for the year, but not really a surprise in there, is there? The fans' player of the season was Rodrigo Ribeiro, despite them not putting him in the best 11. Spasov broke the assist record, goal of the season Vaknin, and Chris Lewis won Young Player of the Year for the club and for the Premier League as well. But a really good season, a really good spell for us, but is it going to be the end at Crystal Palace? We'll wait and see in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully there will be some action this summer. I'd quite fancy that United job with the young players they've got. We've still apparently only got to attempt to avoid relegation from the Premier League to the fans. Where is their ambition? I don't understand it. The club vision, they expect us to finish where? Mid-table. Again, not really a threat, but they want us to challenge for the Carabao Cup. So I'm not sure where the ambition is there, and it does make me worry for the transfer window. But having said that, look at the budget. They have given us £80 million. So many bits of positive news, and Europa League football guaranteed at least. We've got that application in for the United job, but if we have a look at the job security, you've got Chelsea who finished in 6th. You've also got Juventus who finished 6th in Serie A. There are some big clubs that will be in minor European competitions, and if one of them pops up, we are going to go for it. If you did enjoy this season, a bit dramatic, but it ended in style, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know how many of this Palace squad you think will be sold, whether I'm here or not in the summer. And if you want to stay up to date and find out what is our next move, will we be at Palace next season, or will we finally get that big job? Then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time to find out the answer. In the meantime, it is a massive season in our Build a Nation save. It's a historic one, and we're back with another big episode tomorrow. You can find that up in the eye above. There's also some of our other playlists, as well as the football podcast, the Twitch channel, and the blog story as well. But thank you very much for watching as always. Your support for another season. I can't wait to find out where we end up in this summer transfer window. And hopefully it's our first move to an elite super club.